Hello, everyone. This is Tumelo Duke Raswopie. I am from the Transformation Office. And yeah, some of you may know us under the banner of hashtag Speak Out in the work that we do. Today, we have a guest from the Center for Sexualities, AIDS, and Gender, Holisani Korombi, who will be talking to us a bit more about diversity and inclusion. Welcome to Empowering Voices, Holisani.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to tell us more about your organization and yourself?
So as Duke has said, my name is Ulisani Korombi. I'm from the CSANG. I'm currently the project manager of a program called the Just Leaders Program, which is a volunteer program for students on campus. And it mainly focuses on social justice matters. So I think that this is a great conversation to be having when we're talking about inclusivity. More about myself is that I was formerly a lawyer and now I work in social justice, which I think is a great pipeline from working for the law and then going into social justice. But that's a little bit more about myself.
Lovely. So, what does diversity and inclusion look like in the work that you do in the CSANG?
I think a key example of diversity and inclusion is thinking around how we envision the society to look like, and how we hope to engage with people. And so making sure that the space is inclusive of people who may not look like us, who may not feel the way that we feel, of how people have different views to us, but making a space that all of us can share our views in a safer manner and not in the safe manner, because I don't think that it'll ever be safe for everybody to have their views in a specific moment. But we can make such an environment where when we're being inclusive, we can try and make sure that everybody has a voice to speak or a way to speak out in a specific way. So inclusion in the work that we do just means that we are enabling people to be empowered to speak about their different issues and who they are.
Lovely. So, since the implementation of the anti discrimination policy, how have you seen that aid the kind of work that you do?
In specific reaction, I guess, to the anti-discrimination policy, which was only enacted, I think, in 2019, we have then also been able to do things like the Trans Protocol, which is a policy which encapsulates people who are not gender conforming and who are in the transgender community, because that is part of the work that we do, which revolves around sexuality and gender. So I think us being able to champion, along with other role players at the university, like the Transformation Office, like the Law Department, being able to champion the trans policy, the trans document that we have now currently, is a direct result of the anti-discrimination policy. So I think that that enables our work much better, because we have a sitting ground or a standing ground for us to take these issues up with the executive, with the local community members who are part of the university space, because we have some sort of a ground to stand on with the anti-discrimination policy.
So, from what I gather, it has brought in policy support for the kind of work that you were doing before, which aids accountability within the university space.
Definitely, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
But tell me, is there anything else you'd like to share with us around the work that you do in relation to the policy?
I think that with regards to the policy, it's more of a transformative tool. So we work through doing trainings with staff members, with students, and it's a slow process. We can't talk about inclusivity and just make these huge claims and say that because we have these great policies that everything is great now. So I think that a lot of the work that we do is slow, but it's impactful. So I think that that's one of the key things that I would like to, come across and say to people, that social justice work is difficult and it's really slow and it takes forever, and it doesn't look like you're doing much, but it slowly snowballs into a bigger thing. So having policies in place, whether it's the Trans Protocol or the anti-sexual harassment policy, these small little changes enable you to be empowered to do a lot of trainings, which are slow and steady, but they get the work done. So I think that that was one of the main things that I want to say, is that things might not always look like they're happening, or things might not always look like there's been transformation and there's been change, or inclusivity is not happening. But I think that a lot of work that we do with the Transformation Office, with a bunch of other key role players, is slow and behind the scenes, but it is happening. But a key thing that I think we should take from it is that, if people come to us as the center or as a Transformation Office and show us different things that are problematic, we will work towards trying to fix those things. So I think that's one of the most important things, is that come to us as the trans protocol. It was a student who came to our offices and said they're having this problem that they can't use the bathrooms because there's no safe space for them to go to the bathrooms. And although it took a few years to get the policy in place, the policy is now in place, and we now have, gender neutral bathrooms. We have a policy that allows for students to change their their pronouns on ClickUp and have their preferred names where they want to be referred to. So I think it is a slow process, but it is a process worth doing.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your time. How do people get in contact with the CSANG and maybe even your program in particular?
So if you want to get hold of the CSANG, you can go onto our website, which is csang.org, if I'm not mistaken. And then if you want to get hold of us as the Just Leaders program on all social media platforms, our handle is Just Leaders UP. So that will be on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I don't think we have a LinkedIn, but on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, it's Just Leaders UP. Alternatively, I'm not sure if in the podcast I'll just put my email at the bottom, but it's just h.korombi@up.ac.za.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much if you're listening. If you have missed some episodes, please do take the time to catch up, look at the content that we produce, and reach out if you have any questions, and see you in the next episode.